Great, great. Thank you so much, Reed, and thank you for inviting me today. And I just want to put a word out, and everyone can maybe give a round of applause. Of course, we won't hear it, but just in spirit to the excellent speakers that came before me. I was listening to some of these presentations and was pretty much wowed by the educational value, and I picked up some great tips, and hopefully you guys did too. So now it's my job to follow in their shadows, in their footsteps, I should say, and try to keep the momentum going. So what I want to talk to you about today is a strategy that I developed several years ago called the trend jumper. Maybe some of you have heard of it, and if not, well, after today you will have. It's a result of my calling a live trade room for net picks for several years, and what I learned from that experience, obviously you can imagine what I felt when I first started, and if you could put yourself in that position and imagine everybody hanging on your every word, you have to be able to make good calls and call good trades at the right edge of the chart where you don't know what's going to happen next. And it was the culmination of doing that for a while that led to my first strategy, the 7 Summits Trader, also known as the SST, and then into this one, the trend jumper. Okay, so I want to go through just some quick slides, and then I'm going to get straight to the charts and discuss with you some of my main trading ideas and how it went into the strategy. And if you stick around, I will give you a free gift at the end of this presentation. I'll literally give you a link so that you can download a free version of the trend jumper. It's going to work on TradeStation, NinjaTrader, and MT4, along with links to get more information and how you can get started with the trend jumper for as little as $1. Okay, so let me just jump into the slides here so I can get quickly to the charts and we could look at trades, because that's the most interesting part of this presentation. All right, so first of all, let me just tell you a little bit about net picks in case you haven't heard from them. Those are the 2 owners. 18th year in business. We've literally trained thousands of traders. Over 108 countries now. We've got traders using our products. I came on as a customer, and Brian in the bottom right heard me interacting with somebody on one of their earlier forums, and gave me a call one day and asked me to come on board as a coach, and that's when I started calling a live trade room. Everyone at NetPicks, we're all live traders. We're trading in the market every day. And so we know what you're going through because we go through it ourselves. And in fact, I was sitting in a chair listening to one of these webinars, and now I'm the lead trade analyst and system designer for NetPicks. And we've been featured here and there and stuff. We've been around the block, in other words. We know how to succeed, and we know what causes failure. And it's that knowledge that's built into the trend jumper. There I am in the upper left. Some photos of some of the other coaches. It's nice to know, be able to put a face to the voice at the other end of the speaker there. So there I am. All right, so let me tell you about the trend jumper. It's called the trend jumper for a reason, and you'll see why. First of all, it's incredibly versatile. This strategy is designed to work on most markets and time frames, and you'll see that it does. It's very easy to use. The basic approach that I like to use, which I'll show you when we get to the charts, it's almost plug and play. You put it on and you just go. And of course you use certain techniques for building confidence and belief and all the stuff that we teach in the training to make you a better trader in general. But as far as the strategy goes, it's designed just to work. It's based on pure price action, and it will dynamically tune itself to market conditions. So bar after bar, as the market conditions change, the trend jumper knows how to adjust itself. And that's really important because what works on some markets sometimes may not work in other times, but if the system is able to adjust itself, it should be able to keep working. And we found that it does. We're in our 2.5 years now. We're trading the exact same trade plans today, live in our trade room, that we started with 2.5 years ago without having to change anything. And if you just think of crude oil futures, for example, and the changes that that market has gone through when it was trading at $110 a barrel per se a couple years ago, now sometimes below $50 a barrel, and we're using the exact same trade plan, and we are loving the action in crude oil like we always do, one of my favorite day trade markets. So think of this. For a long trade, it's like jumping off of a trampoline. Okay, now when you jump off a trampoline, you're going to go up, and right at that point in time when you stop going up, when you lose that momentum and you're about ready to come back down, you reach out and you grab a profit. Okay, so the trend jumper is going to determine near-term support and resistance levels from which to jump off of, and right at that point where it's gone about as high as it should go, you reach out and grab some profit, and you'll see that on the charts. Okay, and of course for short trades, as we know, things tend to fall a lot faster. It's more like jumping out of an airplane. The trades should happen quickly, in other words. Okay, and you could use it for day trading, swing trading, and even longer-term position trading. We like to use tick charts, range bars, time-based charts are fine. I haven't used it much on volume charts, but I've heard other traders that have, and a lot of traders are actually using it on Renko bars. So like I said, it's incredibly versatile. Okay, and we've got just an enormous amount of great testimonials that have been coming in for years. You'll see some of them as we go along the bottom of these slides. Okay, so who is this good for? First of all, it doesn't really matter if your experience is, if you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate or an advanced trader. The trend jumper is very easy to learn. There aren't a lot of moving parts. The rules are very simple. The rules work on all the setups, and it doesn't take long to learn. What takes long to learn is confidence, trade psychology, that sort of thing. So we teach you along the way how to master that as well. Of course, like I said, Forex futures, stocks, ETFs, options. You could take the simple setups that you'll see on the stock charts and then just buy simple in-the-money calls or puts using the trade setups on the stock chart, for example, and get some amazing returns with a real high percentage of accuracy. And in fact, when the trade goes wrong, you'll even sell back that option. You're not going to hold it until all the premium vanishes. You literally get money back because we'll get out of those trades quickly, way before the options are going to expire. Okay, so that's a good thing also, keeping that risk small. And you'll notice that with trend jumper trades, you have a very favorable risk-reward ratio built into practically every trade. And like I said, works on TradeStation, NinjaTrader, and MT4. And it's good for traders who just want a lot of action. There's a lot of trade opportunities. In fact, sometimes you might even think there's too many, and so you have to learn what to look for. We teach you, and every market that we trade, that we like in particular, has specific trade plans with rules. Okay, one of the things about trading is knowing when to get out, you know, where to get in, where to get out, to plan your trade, trade the plan, and you're going to notice that that axiom, that truth, that very important aspect of successful trading is built into every trend jumper trade. Basically, it's for traders searching for simplicity. You only need to look at one chart. One chart, you see the entire trade. Okay, and another thing that we prescribe to here at NetPicks and the Premier Trader University is this whole idea of trading for a better lifestyle. So we like to mitigate our risk in the market and trade as little as possible. We want to get in, get out, get done, and then go enjoy our day. And a lot of our trade plans are designed with that in mind. We use a concept, it's a dynamic goal-setting strategy that we use every day as part of our trade plan. We call that the power of quitting, POQ. You might want to write that down. It empowers us to quit trading. And that kind of sounds counterintuitive, right? Especially if you're a trader, because what do traders do? Traders trade. However, imagine if you're a Forex trader trading those 4-hour charts, for example. Are you the guy that's sleeping with your computer in the middle of the night, waking up to place a trade? Or are you pulling off the side of the road because your iPhone is beeping, you received a text message from your chart, you have to call your broker, manage a trade? Okay, some traders like to trade like that. I personally don't. I want to get in, get out, and get done, use my power of quitting and be empowered to actually stop trading and treat my trading as a business. I don't want to be some guy trying to trade. I want to be the operator of my trading business. I follow my rules. I'm done when I'm done, and like this I can steadily grow my account. And if I want to grow it faster, then I just stick to my money management rules and increase my position size as my account grows. I don't have to trade more often. I just move my finger over from a 2 to a 3 and place the exact same trades. But I let the balance of my account guide my hand as far as my position size goes. So less is more for successful ongoing trading. All right, and you'll see that as I go through these charts, and I'll talk more about that. So let me jump right to my charts. And you can see I got a whole bunch on here, mainly because I want to show you a lot of examples and show you how versatile the trend jumper is. First thing I want to do is lead out with the market that most of you probably wouldn't think of trading, but it's really great, and it shows, I could show the trend jumper really fast. I want to show you basically everything I'm going to show you are the trades that just happened. Every time I show trend jumper, I usually show these trades, the trades today. And that's how I've been showing the trend jumper for the last 2 years. Of course, today's Saturday, so let's look at yesterday's trades. And heating oil is a market that we've traded inside the live trade room for well over 2 years. We start right at 9 a.m. And I'll explain to you how the trend jumper works in the next few moments. You're going to really learn like 90% of the trend jumper. All right, so let's just find our 9 o'clock time frame. This is a 1-point momentum bar. So you can see here in the data window, it's 9 o'clock yesterday. So we're waiting for our first setup. All right, and we get one right here. And the reason the way we could tell is we got this little plus sign, these dots down below, and a dot on top. That's a trade. The plus sign is your entry. Okay, when it sets up below the bar, it means we're going short. So right away at a glance, we know if we're going long or short. Okay, the first thing I want you to focus on, though, is this green dotted line. It's a very powerful proprietary indicator. It's called the jump line, and it serves a lot of purposes for us. First thing it does is it offers that trampoline to jump off of. It shows us near-term support and resistance levels. Okay, so when a trade sets up below the green dotted line, now there are some exceptions, but in most cases it means we're going short. Notice here it was above the green dotted line, right there. That's a long trade. Okay? Now remember, we don't start till 9. So you'll also see that there's a favorable risk-reward ratio on these trades. Okay, so the trend jumper is designed to be traded with 1 or 2 positions, and in some cases you could even go 3 or 4. With Forex, with stocks and options, you can go with multiple positions. You can put a third target on here. Okay, but the basic approach for day trading, 2 positions. So the first position comes off at the second target, or is off in the middle target, and there's your entry. So that's how much we stand to gain, and the stop is right there at that dot above the setup bar. Look at how much we're risking, see? So for half our position, it's nearly a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio on this chart. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes a little less, but it's typically always a favorable risk-reward ratio. Okay, and that's really important. That's part of the reason this has been such a successful strategy for so long. Okay, so when we get to that middle target there, that second target, we take off half our position. When we get to the first target, we're going to move our stop down and lock in a tick to cover our costs in case it goes against us, literally making it a break-even trade. So one of the other spirits of the strategy, if you will, is to try to get to a risk-free position as quickly as possible on every trade. Okay, and that's part of the trade plan. So notice what I just showed you so far is a complete trade plan for this one trade, and it's the same trade plan every time you take a trade. So now all we have to do is trade the plan. We know where we're getting in. By clicking on the bar, you see the entire trade right here in the data window. How easy is that to trade? You place your trade here. You have your exit at the second target. You know where you're going to move your stop at the first target. Once you take off half your position, then we're going to trail the same green dotted line, the jump line. And that's a great trailing tool for us. So it's showing us momentum. When the trade sets up below the bar and below the line, we know we're going short. It shows us near-term support, and it also gives us a great trailing tool. So notice that the price does stab down. We move the stop down to lock in It hits the target, hits it right on the nail, which you're going to notice. Sometimes there's a lot more in the price action. You know, the trampoline is springier than maybe you thought it would be, so that's why we like to trail a second position. And with every closing bar, we trail down the green jump line. And so this was Friday's trade, and you could see it trailed all the way down to there. And then it popped up and stopped out, and that entire trade was good for 96 ticks. 96 ticks. And we're one and done. Power of quitting. We don't need to keep trading. Now you'll notice that there's additional trades that set up sometimes, and what you'll learn, especially with Forex and even with stocks and markets, that you can control your position size a little bit easier than with futures, is that there are strategic times when we could add to our position and build a position. Okay, and usually it's when you've got the yellow line and the pink line. It's the reaction of those two lines, or the interaction, I should say, of those two lines will give us clues when we can add to our position. And as you grow your account, become more advanced with Trend Jumper, you could begin to learn how to do that better. Okay, but when you see certain things, you can really add up a huge trade, get in, get out, get done, go enjoy your life. Okay, each and every day, it's what we love. Now, obviously, trading has risk. I didn't show the disclaimer because I figure you've all seen it a million times. Not every trade's going to win, but it's how the trades fit into an overall trade plan that allow us to quit positive on most sessions and then grow our accounts over time, is how we make money managing our business of trading, as opposed to just being some guy or gal trying to trade. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see, I should open up the question panel just to keep an eye on things. I will try to save time to answer everyone's questions. Okay. All right, let's just look at a few more of yesterday's trades. We've been trading the Russell E-mini, obviously. It's one of my other favorite markets. And you can go on our blog. I will give you a link to the Trend Jumper blog, and you can follow along a model portfolio of the Russell. Is if you just started with a $5,000 account, it's going to track all the trades. It shows you a trade plan, and you can track the running balance from last September. It's a pretty great way to learn. It's up almost 100% already since last September, and that's netting out trade costs and everything. So let's see. We had a trade. That's Thursday. So just coming into yesterday's market, we start right at 9:30 with the Russell, and again, this is a 1-point momentum bar. Heating oil was a 20-tick momentum bar, not a 1-point momentum bar. And right at 9:30, you can see that's too early. You see that would have been a losing trade, so we stick to our rules, and we're waiting for our first setup, and it comes right here at 9:36. Now, as soon as you click on the bar, even before it triggers in, you know everything. You know where you're getting in. You know you're going long. You know your targets, your stop. You know the philosophy of the strategy and why it works the way it does. This pink line gives us a heads up that momentum is turning to the upside. It's just a faster version of the green line. So while we're not just trading crossing over lines, there are other rules. It just warns us, okay? And so we know we're going to go long soon, and there's our target. Even though it's a different market, it's the exact same trade plan. And I'm only using one setup in this plan. I've eliminated or turned off some of the other setups just to keep this simple, and it's worked so well. We just kind of stuck with it for like over 2 years now. And this was yesterday. Notice that it didn't hit that money management level yet, so you don't move your stop. If you did move your stop, it would have come down and stopped you out. So it's important you stay with the plan and wait for it to hit that first target. It's there for a reason, and then it just blasts through it. And of course, you're moving your stop up, risk-free, taking off some profit, and then hoping it goes a lot higher. In this case, it didn't. It came back down, and the trailer got a partial profit. But that was good for 24 ticks, 240 bucks. And it was a new equity high for the strategy for this trade plan, just dating back like I said, over 2 years. It's making a new record profit level on average every 10th trade. So some days, some weeks it'll just go higher, 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 and then like all trading, you might catch a lull where it goes sideways for a bit before it starts moving higher again. But if you average it all out, and this is true across the board with just about all the trend jumper trade plans, you could pretty much, as a guideline, count that it's going to hit a new record profit level every 10th trade on average. That's pretty good. It also wins 80 to 85% of its sessions on average, just about across the board. So really great win rate when you're talking about session to session to session to session, and even the weekly results are even higher, sometimes as high as 90% of its weekly totals will be positive. All right, so let me just quickly, I don't know, there's so much to look at. Let me show you another one of my favorite day trades. It's soybeans, and the reason why I love it is because you literally could be done with your trading in a matter of minutes. We just follow the same trade plan, and for those of you who like to trade the ES, I recommend you just trade soybeans and just pretend it's the ES. It moves at $50 a point, quarter point ticks, but it's just way easier to make money with. Starts right at 8:30. That's at least our trade plan. And you can see there's this really nice short, but that's before we're ready to start trading. So we stick to our plan. Here's our plan, our setup. Notice it looks identical to the other trades. Setup below the bar. Everything, you've just learned how to use the trend jumper. 8:35, there's your entry, there's your target. You can put a third target further down, which if you want to do 3 positions, you can. Notice how it triggers in, the stop holds, comes down, perfectly hitting the target. That's where you reach out and grab that target, right? Jumping off the trampoline, you lock in 1 tick, and it comes up and ultimately stops out. And it's the minimum winning trade on this market. It's 2.25 points, but there are times when you're going to catch big moves like this, too. And the best thing about this is you literally took that trade at 8:35, and by the time it came up and stopped out of its second position, well, 6 minutes later. So, how's that for a work day? That's what I love about the trend jumper. You don't have to keep trading more. You just keep trading these trades each and every day. Some days it might take a few more trades, but as you grow your account, you just increase your position size. You don't need to trade more. If you want to trade more, trade a different market, stagger your start time, like that. Okay? That also helps keep you keep you from trading in a choppy market, because markets trend and markets consolidate. So if we could take our profit and quit for the session, then we can avoid a lot of the market risk, and possible noise and consolidation that can get you into trouble where you give your profits back and end up in no man's land. And I know that happens to a lot of you because it happens to everybody. It's happened to me a million times too, but using the power of quitting really put the cap on that and basically solve that problem. Okay, now I got some questions about whether this works on Thinkorswim. The actual indicators do not work on Thinkorswim, but I personally trade with Thinkorswim myself. I just look at these charts on TradeStation and then place my trades on Thinkorswim. And we've got this amazing program where TradeStation, they love trend jumper traders because trend jumper traders tend to succeed and stay with them. So TradeStation will literally pay you 150% of your investment in the trend jumper with commission rebates. That's real money. They'll give you a 20% rebate until you've been paid off 150% of the cost of trend jumper. So it's kind of a no-brainer. You get TradeStation for free, basically. Okay, and NinjaTrader has some great things too, and then of course there's the free MT4. And TradeStation, Steve, I see your question. We'll give you our contact and a promo code, and you'll get TradeStation for free. You have to open up an account. You can take most of your money out of the account once you get it open if you don't want to trade with TradeStation. But these are great charts. I personally think they're the best charts to use, and they're what I use to design the strategy. I designed Trend Jumper with TradeStation. All right, so there's a bunch of other charts on here, obviously futures. You get the idea. You can day trade futures. What about Forex? Let me show you a quick day trade example. I also want to point out that when you get the Trend Jumper, we don't just deliver you the product and that's the end. It comes with a lot. It comes with an owner's club that's very active, a lot of great training materials, but along with the club membership comes our live trade room. And so you get access to the live trade room where you literally can learn this in live time, interacting with myself, other coaches, other traders, get all your questions answered in live time, and literally learn the strategy in live time. And for some reason this didn't load, so let me just get it to load. And I'll show you the EJ, Euro Yen. This is, I think, one of the best day trading markets for Forex. And we trade this every day. Okay, that's not loading. Sometimes on the weekend, I don't know why, but I have a hard time getting data for the Japanese yen. Let's see if I refresh this. Okay, here we go. So I'll just show you again yesterday's trades. You can go on the blog and just see a 2-year history of the Trend Jumper. So obviously yesterday was the granddaddy report. Non-farm payroll. We start trading. This plan actually is beginning at 8:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We don't want to trade in front of non-farm payroll, right? Of course, sometimes it's going to work even outside of our trade plan. Like you can see this short right here. It almost called the bottom here perfectly right when the report came out. But that's not the trade we're in. We're certainly not going to trade the reaction of the report. There's a nice long setup after selling the news and the buyers start coming in. You get a long setup. It's a bigger trade than usual, but remember I told you Trend Jumper is dynamically tuning itself to market conditions. So while the trade to the left is much smaller, notice a much larger trade on the heels of non-farm payroll, and you can see your entry. We're going to trade this with 3 positions, right? One gets off at target 2, one gets off at target 3, and then one's going to trail this purple line here. And so you'll see how Trend Jumper almost called that 3rd target perfectly, fell a little short, missed by a little bit, but you're taking profit off here, you're moving your stop up to break even, now you're trailing the purple line up, and it stops out right there. And that's a pretty successful trade, even though you didn't get the full amount of the trade. It went from 134.68 up to 135.08. right, just rounding it off. It's a nice trade for a partial profit. Could you keep trading to the short side? You can, but remember markets trend and then they consolidate. You probably would have taken a small loss. You could have got long, and even that one fell short. So that's why we use power of quitting. While these almost made it, this one did, of course, but we're already done. And that's how we can win and win and win and get those high winning percentages session after session, week after week, and hit new record profit levels on every 10th trade, more or less. Okay? So power of quitting is very important. My favorite way to trade Forex, though, are with the daily charts. And the reason why is because, again, I'm a lifestyle kind of trader. I want to be able to get in, get out, get done, and I don't want to be the guy that sleeps with my computer. I have an attractive wife. I want to, sleep with my wife, not with my computer, right? I don't want to have to pull off the side of the road when I'm in a hurry to take my son to his soccer game or whatever, and only to now have to call my broker to place a trade. That's no way to live. So with the end of day charts, it literally takes 20 minutes a day, and you could utilize the best attributes of trading Forex. And one of those is the ability to control your position size through the creative use of micros, minis, full-size lots. As you grow your account, you could put on the proper risk. Now, I know some traders will say put on 5%, some will say put on 2%. With this approach, I think you should put on less than 1%, 3/4 of 1%. But it ends up being a lot more because you build your position as it goes. Okay, so you could literally end up with 3 or 4% risk on a trade. If you look at what recently happened in the pound dollar, right? We all know the dollar's been strengthening. That's been the big story in Forex, and it's really what saved Forex for 2014, because prior to that, Forex was just a dead place to be trading, right? The first part of 2014, no volatility, and then it finally opened up. So the way you do it, exactly what I just taught you. You know already when to get in, but we're going to take profit at each one of these 3 targets. So we peel off a quarter at target 1, target 2, target 3, and then trail the green dotted line down. And then we're going to add to our position with subsequent setups. Okay, so that's why you go on a smaller risk. Plus, this is end-of-day charts, and they're pretty big trades. Even though our risk is right on the other side of the bar, and we get the great risk-reward ratio, imagine losing a couple of those. If you've got too much risk, if you're over-leveraged, or the Swiss bank decides to do something, right? That could happen. We all know that could happen. You get in big trouble. So you want to have small risk on every trade and let your account grow and be in it for the long term. Be in it to grow a business, okay? Think of growing your position size like growing market share in another business. It's almost the same type of thing. And then you'll be in the game even when you go through rough periods or, like any other business, slow periods, okay? That's how you want to think. So you'll see that literally, I mean, there's thousands of pips in this trade all the way down. July through November, over 3,000 pips, and you're containing your risk, you're keeping it small, and then you let your account grow, and over time, each position is going to grow accordingly. So imagine 5 years down the road when you're taking trades like this, and you've got multiple full-size lots, and it only represents 0.75% of your account. You're not going to be too afraid of what happens, right? And that's a big deal when conquering all the things that haunt a trader's psychology, right? So 20 minutes a day, you literally look at your chart at the end of the day. I could go through and walk through all these trades. You can see a lot of winners here, but I want to move on. So this is the trade that's setting up right now. Even these bigger short trades hit some profit with then trailing the jump line, getting out with a profitable trade. Doesn't have to go all the way. That's not so important. What's important is that we control our risk, trade our plan, book our profits. We know exactly where that's going to be, and then just execute our trade plan. And now the market might go higher. Would I adjust my entry a little bit above that 50 EMA? Yeah, I would. The downtrend is so strong, we don't know when it's going to end. I don't think I want to jump into a long trade right in front of this 50 EMA, right? So I'll adjust it up a little. There's enough room in this trade to force some extra confirmation, don't you think? I might even put it up above the 5,400 level. All right, so these are some of the little things we teach in training, of course, is how to read the price action. Trend Jumper does a great job of reading it for us, but, you know, it's artificial intelligence. As real traders, we can put in about 5% worth of art and even improve our results by maybe avoiding a false setup there. It could end up losing, okay? Not afraid of it losing, but if I can avoid it, I'm going to try by making tiny adjustments sometimes. Let's see, I got to at least show you a few more things. Let's see, stock charts, obviously. We have some custom plans. So far, everything I've shown you is the exact same standard setup on every single market. Basically the same approach for everything I've shown you, all right? But we could also customize these indicators, and as you get further and further involved with Trend Jumper, you could start playing with the indicators and learn how to do this. This is an automated version of it that when you get higher up, you could always upgrade to a fuller version or more with more bells and whistles, basically. But this is a trade plan for Lulu. And let's see, I didn't pull up the performance report, but basically it's winning a lot. And you could see the last trade. You could take profit, target 1, target 2, target 3. You can trail the blue line. You can trail part of your position, leave part of it on the green line also. You get a lot of flexibility with options, don't you? So, and just to kind of show you how powerful this is, I'm going to jump back to the standard version. Let me just grab heating oil really quick, and then I'm going to get to some questions. But let me show you something. I'm just going to copy this chart, make a new one, and then I'm just going to start throwing some random stock symbols up. We'll put it on daily charts. And one thing you can do with Trend Jumper is you could quickly see if a chart is worth trading or not, and then you could pursue it further, do some back testing. and see if you want to add this to your collection of symbols to trade, for example. And it's just a standard approach. And remember, stock prices range from anywhere from what? $1 a share to $1,000 a share. So you might play with some of the entries and exits and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. Let's see. Let's look at a, I don't know. Let's just look at an ETF. Gold miners ETF is a good one that I like. But we could look at, if you guys want to put some stock symbols in there, we could take a look. Just by looking at the most recent trades, you can see right away how well it's going to work on that chart, right? It works on most. It doesn't work on all. Let me just look at it so we can see a few more. So you can see how it catches. It avoids. It catches a nice little winner there, hits the target perfectly on the head. You see that? Avoids this one, and then gets short here. You can see at the right edge that how that bar stopped right on the target, but then it kept going, so you could continue trailing the green jump line. Then you can get short here. Then you can get long here. All right, now that looks like it's going to lose, and it is. You get caught up into a short here. You got a couple losses in there, right? But then you end up getting a nice winner, another nice winner, and anyway, you get the idea. So let's throw in a few other symbols. Let's just look at boy. All right, let's look at Broadcom, just for the heck of it, and we could just look at a bunch of them real quick. The spider works, the Qs work, all the usual suspects. What I like about the text is you get a lot of volatility. Just looking from left to right, you get a nice winner. Again, a real accurate target. This one here, another nice winner. Look how accurate that target is. You see? And you could add your position here, and look how accurate that target is. Right? So this shows you different chart, same everything. There's certainly more upside. We know what we can do with that. This trade looks like it stops out, but the thing is it never triggered in yet. But the trade remains valid, so it crashes down, and again, a very accurate target. And then a much bigger trade and a pretty accurate target here. We like it when it overshoots a little bit. Then on the upside, another winner. On this upside, another winner. Add to your position. Get the point, right? Let's see. Someone put in PG. I've never looked at PG. Let's look at PG. You could look at the, you know what's a good one is the VXX. All right, so PG, again, looking at the left side here, it looks like you get a small loss, no trade, and then you hit a nice winner. And then a one that barely triggers in and gaps up. And we're not even considering earnings, right? You're obviously not going to trade during earnings, is probably what this was. But it works pretty good. I think I would test it out. It's a $90 stock. You might be able to avoid a few entries and avoid a few losses by widening the stop a little bit, widening the entry a little bit. I know one that's big in the news is Twitter. Let me just show you quickly the VXX, because that is a true measurement of volatility, and it shows you how the trend jumper adjusts to market volatility really well. This is, of course, the short-term VIX. So just looking from left to right, you have a nice short, almost gets all the way, and it ultimately does right there perfectly, right? You got a little bit of noise in there. But then look at the long trade. Look at this long trade. Look at how it just came up and it knew where that target was. So from the real small trades to the real big trades, it's self-tuning, and then finally it gets short, and again, you can see this little extra trade there perfectly. That one, that one. Not bad, huh? Not everything wins, of course, but hopefully you get the idea. What is the entry trigger? It's the plus sign. So looking at, for example, here, you have to blow it up to can make it bigger and see it. And, you know, it's only a little bit above the bar. You might move the entry and adjust it so you ask for a little bit more confirmation. You certainly have that control, right? With a little plus sign, you know it's going long because it's above the bar. You got the whole trade in the data window, like what I've been showing you. All right, so I don't know if we should look at more stock charts. I don't know how much more time I have. Reed, I don't know, you want to jump in and kind of let me know where we stand, if I should jump back to my slides and kind of close this thing?
Got about a little bit less than 5 minutes, so around 2:40 is when I'm bringing on Vlad. He actually got on, so around 2:40 I'll be putting him on after you.
Okay, so not a lot of time. So let's jump back to this, and I'm just going to quickly show you how you can get started. Okay, I'm going to blast through. You already got the idea that it works. There's a lot of great testimonials. I can get through all this, and what I want to do is show you how you can get started and then give you the free links so that you can get a free version of the Trend Jumper. Okay, so it comes with everything, start to finish, really excellent video training, the Owners Club, lots of trade plans for lots of markets, and again, I don't have a lot of time. You get live training 2 times a week, and we have a promo going where instead of having to pay the $197 a month as an ongoing club member, we're going to give it to you free for life. So no reoccurring charges. That's pretty cool. Thank you, NetPicks, for that. And that's where you learn the strategy. I don't know too many other companies that actually have a strategy this powerful, this easy, but then you could also learn it in real time while it's happening until you're actually ready to go live. Okay, it says 30 days access. I'm going to give it to you for life. Okay, all the trade plans, everything. And then, of course, free shipping, although now we actually let you download it, so we're not going to ship anything unless you want it. You get a free coaching call for an hour. We'll help you set it all up, Lifetime Owners Club, and, of course, advanced training. This is all extra value. And so remember I told you you can get started for $1. So you have a couple things. You could pay for it outright and own it forever for $9.97 or a 3-pay, $367 a month times 3. Remember, TradeStation will pay you 150% of that if you open an account with our contact and promo. Okay, so these are the 2 links you want. Netpicks.com, TJ Life gets it to you for life, or you can try it for $1. You get it for 10 days. After that, you get billed at $97 a month as a lease. So you could try it for like less than 10 ticks a month on crude oil, or you can buy it for the one-time price. All right? So, and then you can get the free one too. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to put some links in the chat box there so that you can quickly just click on these links. And then, Reed, if you can just maybe tell me if they're getting up there or not. I'm not exactly sure where to put them.
Do you see the questions, the question box?
Yeah, that's where I'm putting them in the question box. So if you guys can see them, hopefully.
Okay, yeah, I am seeing it, but it's being you're just responding to one of the questions, so I can actually pop that in there for you, and it'll go out to the entire audience.
That'd be great. In fact, there's 4 links I want to give you. So 2 of them are these 2: how to buy it, how to try it for $1. Then there's a link for the free Trend Jumper, our gift to everyone for listening to me for the last 45 minutes or so. And then I want to give you a link to the blog where you can just follow along that model trade plan as well as learn 2 years worth of history and really get a good feel for what we've been doing with the Trend Jumper. So Reed, there you go, 4 links. If you don't mind making those available, that'd be great. Charlie asking about Thinkorswim, and I answered that already, Charlie, but basically I trade with Thinkorswim. You could trade with any broker you want, but the Trend Jumper is going to only work on TradeStation, NinjaTrader, or MT4 for charting. Okay, and I just showed you how you can get TradeStation, have them pay 150% of the Trend Jumper, and get TradeStation for free. So you can get the TradeStation charts, use those charts, place your trades on Thinkorswim. It's a much better charting platform than what Thinkorswim offers. So, you know, I always believe in using the best tools because you're trading against traders that are using the best tools. So for me, I'd rather also use the best tools. That's just my opinion. Gee, guys, I wish I could answer more questions. So let me give you my email as well. Reed, please. And I will answer any question that you have if you want to submit it. there's my email. And then I don't know if I have any time to answer questions, Reed, just let me know. If not, I'll just say goodbye to everybody and pass this back to you.
Yeah, it looks like we're right on time. So we are at the end of the time slot, unfortunately. But I was able to put out all those links as well as your email address, so everybody does have that in their chat box.
Awesome. All right, great. Thanks. I really appreciate the time to be able to share this with everybody. Reed, thanks again. Anytime you need a speaker, you can count me in. I'd love to do it. And to all our guests, thanks again, and good luck with your trading, and I hope I hear from a lot of you. Send me your questions. Try Trend Jumper for $1. You're going to love it, and that'll get you into the live trade room too, so you can really check out what we're doing.